Hello, this is HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, July 6th, 2016. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. And we got a few news items to talk about and a few links to share. So let's get started. There was an episode of SAS What, the SAS What podcast, which was recorded back in 2014. Featured Mark DeWerth, the organizer, of course, of the excellent Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and also Mark Mazel of BFRO, of Ohio BFRO, I should say. And they were interviewed by Seth and Mark Zasky, for the, Matsky, not Zasky. I always get those two confused. Anyway, Mark Matsky. And apparently they were at Squatch Fest 2014. And pretty interesting interview. And always great to hear from the folks in the Buckeye State. Ohio, one of my favorite places. Love Ohio. And these guys, Mark and Mark, are very knowledgeable about what's going on in the Buckeye State. And of course, when you organize the largest Bigfoot conference in the world, you essentially do have to have your finger on the pulse of whatever is happening in the world of Bigfoot. So, great stuff, and I recommend checking it out. A YouTube poster has put up apparently an older interview from Art Bell with Robert W. Morgan. Apparently also there was an individual interview named Stan Johnson, December 11th, 2001, so we're talking nearly 15 years ago. I believe that may be the show where they talked about, that may be the show where Bugs called in. I'm not really 100% certain. I have not listened to it, so if this is the one with Bugs, of course Bugs turned out to be actually a DJ himself, and he was yanking everybody's chain, as it were, with the whole, I shot 2 Bigfoot and buried them in somewhere in Texas, and I have a map, and you get the map after I pass away. So. And Robert W. Morgan and Art Bell, they kind of pursued that for a while. I think they've given up on it. I think they realize there's nothing to it. So, but it was interesting for a while, but it turned out to be another red herring and a dead end. So, what can you do? Something that just premiered this past week is a YouTube channel called the Sasquatch Archives. This is from Todd Prescott, who has, in my mind, done a tremendous job of preserving Sasquatch history. He has really, done a tremendous thing for the Bigfoot community. And I can't say enough good things about what Todd's been doing. His latest venture is, again, the Sasquatch Archives. He has put up on YouTube, recorded from John Green's files. What Todd did was he went into John Green's house, and he took all of the audio recordings, the tapes of old interviews that John Green had in his possession. One of them was an interview with Roger Patterson interviewing Fred Beck. We can probably see the title right here, Ape Canyon Bigfoot. Fred Beck was the individual, one of the individuals involved with the Ape Canyon incident in 1924. Very great interview. And by the way, Todd has put up transcripts on the screen so you can figure out exactly what they were saying. Because the recordings, they're a little bit muffled and they're not the best quality. But fortunately, Todd took the extra step of putting up the transcript of what they said on the screen. So, tremendous, tremendous stuff. It's awesome. I recommend subscribing to this channel, the Sasquatch Archives, because maybe this is history. This is historic stuff. And John Green's had so many things in his files, interviews and witness reports and things of that nature in audio form. I mean, it's great that Todd is preserving all this for all time and presenting it to fellow Bigfooters. This is great. I mean, this is what John Green wanted. He wanted to share information with people. And, I mean, Todd is doing a great service. So, hey, big thumbs up to Todd Prescott. Thank you so much, Todd, for doing this for us. For those who love to listen to podcasts and podcasts that talk about different subjects in the world of Sasquatch, I have a few recommendations. One of them is Monster X Radio, which airs every Sunday evening at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific. Hosted by Shane Hardcore Corson and Gunnar Monson. Gunnar, of course, the guru of Sasquatch coffee. Have you tried it, Yeti? And Shane and Gunnar are going to be at Beachfoot this year, so it'll be great to see them again. I haven't seen them since Yakima 2014, and I'm going to be bringing home some Sasquatch coffee from Beachfoot for sure, because it's great. I love Sasquatch coffee. I'm a big booster of the product of Sasquatch coffee. It's tremendous. And but I'm also a big booster of Monster X Radio. I mean, they've had some great guests on there. They've had guys like Thomas Steenberg and John Kirk, Derek Randalls, members of the Olympic Project, Shelley Covington, Montana, Monica Rollins. I mean, the list of guests that they've had on Monster X Radio reads like a who's who of the Bigfoot world. But not only have they had Bigfoot guests, they've also had guests talking about lake monsters and also the haunted sea also, and sea monsters and things like that, which that's always interesting. It's great to branch out and expand into other things because it's called Monster X Radio. It's not necessarily strictly a Bigfoot show. But most of the stuff they talk about, much like most of the stuff I talk about on this show, is Sasquatch related. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite podcasts. I always try and listen to it live if I can, and it's tremendous. And even if you don't listen live, they do have, of course, archives. But yeah, I mean, this show's been going strong for about 2 or 3 years now, and it's one of my favorites. I always look forward to Monster X Radio, so hey, I say check it out. Another podcast, which is unfortunately now defunct, but was going strong for quite a few years, is The Bigfoot Show, hosted by Brian Brown, aka Bipto, for the Bigfoot Forums, member of the NAWAC, North American Wood Ape Conservancy, and tremendous show. Frequent guest host Scott Harriet, one of the funniest dudes around, and he was a frequent contributor and guest host on the show. And they would have other individuals with them on the program. And they interviewed a lot of the big names in the Bigfoot field and the who's who. And they would also, have interesting discussions about certain types of evidence, which is tremendous. And the show was really well done. The professionalism that was shown, the professional manner in which they went about producing the podcast, absolutely tremendous. And I can't recommend this enough, even though it's no longer going. It's still a great listen. There's still some great listening for this show. It was previously preceded by the BIPcast, the SBIP, Bigfoot Information Project. And I think you can still find the archives of that online somewhere also. They didn't produce very many episodes of the BIPcast. The Bigfoot show kind of evolved from the BIPcast. So, but the BIPcast was also tremendous. Really enjoyed that. And one thing they would do is for the BIPcast, there was at least one where I remember Brian Brown was in Skookum Meadows live, quote unquote, with Rick Knoll. Of course, that was the location of the Skookum cast. Tremendous podcast that particular one was. They were all tremendous. There was also one where he was on location in Area, I believe it was Area X. And that was actually when the TBRC, when NAWAC was called the Texas Bigfoot Research Conservancy, and they were retrieving camera traps with Chris Buttonbaugh. That's Monica Rollins' husband. So it's a tremendous podcast, both BIPcast and the Bigfoot Show. So you might be able to find download links for the BIPcast here, but I'm not 100% sure at the Bigfoot Show. Or you just do a Google search or whatever search engine you use and look for BIPcast. Good stuff. Another great podcast. And I should have mentioned about Sasquatch. It's tremendous too. I may have said that when I talked about Sasquatch, but yeah, Sasquatch's great also. But another great podcast is Into the Fray Radio with Shannon LeGros, and also Sam Sheeran and Ryan Sprague. And they cover the gamut of topics. I mean, they talk about all kinds of different paranormal topics. I mean, they talk about Sasquatch and other hairy hominoids. And they talk about other cryptozoological creatures like the Mothman and giant birds and things of that nature. Of course, they also talk about UFOs and psychic phenomenon and other strange happenings in the world of the paranormal. And it's a tremendous podcast as well. And they've interviewed several folks on their podcast. Some Bigfooters, some UFO researchers, researchers into just the strange and the weird and the unusual. And it's a great podcast, very informal, but also, I think, very entertaining. I think Shannon and Sam and Ryan do a tremendous job. By the way, you see this banner. This banner was designed by Sam himself. He's an artist. He's also an actor. I believe he just finished a run of a stage production of Dracula, where he played the vampire count himself. I would love to see that. To see like somebody put that on video, put it on YouTube of him as Count Dracula. I mean, that is awesome. That's just tremendous. But yeah, it's a great podcast. They cover some really great topics on the show. So yeah, and another one that I highly recommend. Very exciting news. John Green's website is back up. John Green, SasquatchDatabase.com. It was down for a while. where you couldn't access it. Actually, what I did was I went on archive.org and I actually found the archived version of it, and I was still able to look at it. But now we can take a look at take a look at it again because it's been made available once again. And I believe it had to do. I think it's his daughter. I believe it's his daughter that maintains the website. And if there's anybody who wants to just sit and peruse, look through John Green's database, read it in either MS Access format or CSV file format, this is your opportunity. And you can download it to your hard drive. And also there's available articles you can read also, which are a little bit outside the purview of the database. And I mean, of course, you can't go wrong with John Green and his research, the vast amount of research that he conducted into this topic. I'm so glad that they reestablished and revived the website and put it back up, because this is a resource we don't really want to lose. I don't think we want to lose it, because this is history. This is Sasquatch history. This is something that needs to be preserved, much like what Todd Prescott is doing with his channel, the Sasquatch Archives. And I'm all about the historical stuff as well as the modern stuff when it comes to this subject. And it's great to see this website back up and running. Another tremendous website is SasquatchCanada.com. This site's got all kinds of great stuff on it, including a link to their YouTube channel, Sasquatch Central, where they have all kinds of great videos. They have documentaries. They have field videos and things of that nature. It's great. And they have they talk about the Backwoodsman magazine. There was an issue in 2013 which had an article written by Christopher L. Murphy on the Sasquatch. I actually have this issue, and I believe he got help on it from Dr. Jeff Meldrum and Todd Prescott. Yes, right here. Right, yes. Here it is. Major article on the Sasquatch, written by Chris Murphy with the assistance of Dr. Jeff Meldrum and Todd Prescott. It's featured in the September-October 2013 issue of the Backwoodsman magazine. It's a great article, too. Really tremendous. Tremendous article. It's terrific. And this is a little bit of a, what they call notes from Charlie. I think this was in Backwoodsman magazine. And right here, yes, we have a virtual museum presentation by Christopher L. Murphy. See the best we have for Sasquatch evidence. And you click on that, and you get a series of photos and PDFs basically telling the audience what we know about the Sasquatch so far. And it's a visual representation of Chris Murphy's books, Meet the Sasquatch and Know the Sasquatch Bigfoot. So another tremendous resource. And it's great. It's great to see that this site has been able to document and preserve, once again, preserving history. I always talk about preserving the history of this subject, and once again, we have this website doing just that with the Chris Murphy well, the archives, but of course most of it came from John Green, as we all know. But then, of course, there were other contributors as well. But John Green was a large part of the contribution process for the exhibit, the Meet the Sasquatch exhibit, which I got to see in British Columbia and in Yakima, Washington. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's great. It's tremendous. So, once again, check it out. Then there's also AmericanPrimate.com. My good friends Todd and Diane Neese. Of course, they are the organizers of Beachfoot. Todd is a longtime researcher. He's also a witness. He saw 3 Sasquatches down in a rock quarry in 1993. He was featured on Unsolved Mysteries back in 1994. And this is his website, and there's quite a bit of information here, some good stuff. And highly recommended. I recommend checking it out. Todd and Diane, they're slowly but surely becoming a power couple in the Bigfoot field. And they're just great people, good friends. Looking forward to seeing them again in a couple of weeks. So once again, check it out. I mean, the nice thing about Todd and Diane is they're credible, they're level-headed, they're down to earth. They don't make wild suppositions. They always try and keep it on an even keel, and they keep an objective attitude around them as far as the subject is concerned. So, tremendous stuff, and it's great to see them combining their resources and their experience with this subject. And can't say enough good things about them. Both of them are great. Then we have the website of The Last Remaining Horseman. The Four Horsemen of Sasquatchery, which was a title that John Green hated because Peter Byrne was part of it, and John Green considered Peter Byrne a fraud. But that's between them. I don't get involved in stuff like that. I like both of them. I like John Green. I like Peter Byrne. And I don't get involved in petty squabbles between people who disliked each other. Well, John Green's passed away now anyway, so I mean, I don't know how Peter felt about John or still feels about John. I can ask him at Beachfoot. But yeah, Peter is the last surviving horseman. And this website kind of details his life, not just his Sasquatch research, but also some of the other things he's been involved with. His conservation efforts, some of the things he's done in his life. He's kind of like the Irish Indiana Jones. I mean, he's been a world traveler. He's gone to all different countries. I'm not really sure how many countries he's been to or how many continents he has set foot on. I mean, Peter was one of the early pioneers, like him or not. I know some people don't like him, and that's fine. But the guy was one of the early pioneers. He was one of the earliest researchers into the subject. Even though, I mean, yeah, he was brought in under controversial circumstances to the Pacific Northwest expedition of the late 50s into the early 60s. There was quite, I mean, yeah, Yeah, John Green, Renee DeHenen, Bob Titmus, they were not big fans of Peter Byrne. They didn't like the way he was brought in. So, yeah, I mean, you can read all about that in different aspects and different books. I read all about it in Peter Byrne's recent book, The Hunt for Bigfoot, which is a combination of his original book plus the Monster Trilogy guidebook. I actually have both those books, by the way. And I have, let's see, I have the hardcover and paperback of The Search for Bigfoot, Monster, Myth, or Man, and also the Monster Trilogy guidebook. I have all three of those. And you know what? I need to take that. I have my original Peter Byrne books, The Search for Bigfoot, hardcover and paperback, packed to get them signed by Peter. I need to pack the Monster Trilogy guidebook also. Get him to sign that as well. So, but I know I'm rambling. You know, you guys know me. I always like to ramble. But yeah, Peter Byrne, great individual, and looking forward to meeting him in a couple of weeks. Back in the late 90s, there was an excellent documentary that was released by Griffin Productions by Peter von Puttkamer called Sasquatch Odyssey, The Hunt for Bigfoot. And it profiled the four horsemen of Sasquatchery: Peter Byrne, Renee DeHenden, John Green, and Grover Krantz. And I'm a proud owner of that particular documentary, and of course it's great. One of my absolute favorites of all time. It and Bigfoot's Reflection are two of my favorites, and they're both produced by Canadians. But this one is the only time that I know of that they had all four of the four horsemen of Sasquatchery on the same documentary. Of course, they were not all together, obviously, and it's because of the personality issues and the personality conflicts and things of that nature. But we have the four principals. They're interviewed on there about their thoughts on what's going on in the past, what's going on now, things of that nature. And it really gives us a great look into all four of them. And really, Sasquatch Odyssey is really not about the creature. It's more about the men who look for the creature, especially the old guard, most of which unfortunately has gone on to that great hunting circle in the sky. Except for Peter Byrne, he's the last survivor. So, but yeah, I mean, tremendous documentary, one of my absolute favorites. I love it. It's available on Amazon if you want to order it. And can't say enough good things about it. So, it also features appearances by Henry Franzoni, the late Ray Crow, and Dr. Robert Michael Pyle. So that's a nice little, a few nice little bonuses in there as well. So check it out. Finally today, this link is called the Sasquatch Information Society, bigfootinfo.org. And it's not updated very frequently, but it's still a pretty great website. And run by a fellow named Robert Murdoch. And a few years ago, he actually combined this with Ray Crow's database. The database that Ray Crow had, and also his website. He had the website internationalbigfootsociety.com, which you can actually still find on archive.org. But and actually, this website kind of took over for the International Bigfoot Society, which was originally known as the Western Bigfoot Society. But this website's got some good stuff on it. Nothing's been updated since last September, but maybe Robert will come around to re-updating the website again at some point. Hope he does. It's a tremendous resource, and I got to meet Robert a couple of times. He came to Ohio in 2008 and 2009, but I haven't seen him since then. But I think I still have the T-shirt, the T-shirt that he was selling, the original T-shirt from 2008. But yeah, it's a great website. It's tremendous. Got a lot of good stuff on it. Although, if you want more current information, I would recommend like BigfootResearchNews.com or Squatchable.com or BigfootBlogger.com if you want the latest information. As Columbo would say, there is just one more thing. I want to send out some condolences to the family of Canadian Sasquatch researcher Barry Blunt. Barry unexpectedly passed away yesterday, unfortunately. And I met Barry briefly in 2011 at the John Green tribute. I believe it was Thomas Steenberg that introduced me to him. I can't really quite remember. But Barry helped contribute to a booklet by Christopher L. Murphy called The Strange Story of Jacko the Ape Boy. Great booklet, by the way. Where they really, Chris and Barry didn't really take a hard stance one way or the other on the validity or lack thereof of the Jacko story. But anyway, condolences go out to his family and friends, and may his memory be eternal. And that is going to do it for this week's HBM's Crypto Corner. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I hope somebody takes something out of what I've shared here. And I enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. I don't like to keep things to myself when it comes to the subject, and I think more researchers need to do that. They need to share more and not hold everything in, not be, what do you call it, selfish with what they obtain and what they learn. Anyway, next week is going to be the last show for a couple of weeks, but in 3 weeks there is going to be a special edition of HBM's Crypto Corner, the Beachfoot video, where I will take a lot of videos and edit them together, much like I did for the Ohio Bigfoot Conference this last year and this year. But I'm going to leave my laptop at home. I'm not going to take it to Beachfoot. Don't really think I need to. I think I can make out just fine with just my phone. And then when I come back, I'll just re-edit all the video together at home. But it'll be that particular show, that particular special edition will be on Wednesday, the 27th of July. and because I'll be back then. I'll be back before then. Um, so anyway, be on the lookout for that. But yes, next week there is going to be a new show. After that, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. So until next week, y'all be good or be good at it. This has been HBM's Crypto Corner.